Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you are all well. And again, a belated Happy Mother's Day to all the moms in the parish. It was very weird not having you with us and being able to give you that special Mother's Day blessing in person. Mother's Day is always kind of a bittersweet day for me because, as you learned from my bulletin reflection, my mom died some time ago, actually 19 years ago. It's always a bittersweet remembering her and all those times, particularly reflecting those last couple of months a little bit. She died of liver cancer, and she also got sick in the midst of what ended up being my father's final illness. So I lost my parents within 2 years of each other, and ironically, they were 2 years apart in age. They died at about the same age, 67. So they died rather early. But it's always fun also to reflect on the positive impact that my mother had, particularly in my Dominican life, because of my classmates, she was the closest physically to St. Albert's. And so she took upon herself, I think with a little bit of encouragement from our novice master, to be essentially the class den mother. So she hosted many gatherings in her home for not only my class but for other friars as well. So it was no surprise to me that at her funeral there were probably about 30 priests and probably another 20 student brothers or brothers in general. I mean, I've always said that my mother has been more popular in the province than I will ever be, as only a mom can be. It's always fun to share those stories. So I look forward to sharing more of those stories with you in the future. As you know, Solano County has moved up the scale as of Friday in reopening some low-risk businesses, though again with restrictions certainly being observed. A number of you have asked if that means that we'll be having public masses or the opportunity for Holy Communion again, and as of today, the answer is still no. We've not received any further date from the diocese of when we might be able to do that and under what circumstances. We did receive a memo from the bishop a couple weeks ago just talking about a number of possibilities that he was, to use my phrase, just kind of spitballing, just kind of throwing out ideas and seeing what we thought. But again, I mean, the governor said on Friday that we were a couple of months out from public worship. I mean, I hope that's not the case, because believe me, I did not become a priest in order to deny people access to the sacraments, and particularly to the Eucharist. So I want this to begin as soon as we can do so safely and respectfully. So when we get some guidelines, when we get some actual information of when we can begin, believe me, I will let you know, and I'll let you know as soon as I possibly can, maybe via this medium or by an email blast or putting it up on the website. Because again, I very much want to begin that, because believe me, just having you not here is very bizarre, and it's really begin to taking a toll on me. I mean, I have no energy because all I'm doing is going between my room and my office, not seeing anybody, hoping that these reflections, bulletins, And other things are of some use, and from what I've heard, that they are, and that does make me feel good, but that doesn't make it any better not having you here. And I know many of you have expressed increasing frustration about not being able to receive Holy Communion, and believe me, I hear you. And again, I want to give that to you again as soon as we can do so safely and protect particularly the most vulnerable in our community. And as you may remember from the time before we were under full lockdown, that the bishop started with giving a dispensation for those people 65 and older, from dispensing them from their Sunday obligation. But what he also did in that same decree was also forbade priests over 65 from engaging in ministry with parishioners, and that's why it's just been Father Brad and I hearing confessions, and not Father David and Father Vincent. And so that restriction is still in place, and so we'll have to take that into consideration when planning for masses and whatnot, because we've been so used to Father Vincent and Father David's generosity in celebrating masses, hearing confessions, and being available to you, and that at this point, because they are the most vulnerable, that they're still under that restriction. So again, have to begin thinking about, okay, what is it going to be just to be Father Brad and I, and then just me for a while, though I'm working on getting some help in between the time that Father Brad leaves and Brother Gregory becomes a priest in September, because he'll be here for a number of months as a deacon, and will serve as a deacon. And of course, it'll be wonderful to have him, and but that's not celebrating Mass and not hearing confessions until he's ordained a priest. So please do be patient with me, with the bishop, because again, much of the diocese might not be under the easing of restrictions as we are here in Solano County. And again, we've not received any word whether we will be given any latitude to celebrate Mass, distribute communion in a way that's different than other parishes or other counties surrounding us. But again, believe me, I want to open that up as soon as we can. But again, remember that this virus still is an issue, that it still is a very serious issue, and as I'm sure you've been seeing in the news, that it's having other serious consequences and effects on people other than what we first thought. So again, we're still learning about this virus and about its effects on people, and so of course we want to be perhaps overly cautious in opening up particularly more public venues, because of course then we're exposing one another, because we can be asymptomatic, carry the virus, and not knowing that we're carrying it. And that's particularly true for folks like Father Brad and I, who under normal circumstances are obviously exposed to a lot of people, and we don't want to be typhoid Larrys and pass that on to you. So again, doing what we can to keep you safe, and helping you to keep one another safe as we do and are allowed to come together safely. So do know that. Second, wanted to mention, for those of you who've been reading the bulletin, Teresa put in our monthly financial state, and I don't know about you, but that number of being almost $60,000 in the red to our budget income was kind of jarring. But she reminded me that before we started this, we were about $40,000 shy of our anticipated budget income. It's not clear yet whether or not we're going to have to do a close the gap little mini drive here at the end of the fiscal year. But as I said, at this point, what I said a couple weeks ago is still true, that we are all current on our bills, that we have money in the bank, and please God that we will get the small business loan funding soon. So we should be okay. And I will keep you, of course, posted on that. But as I say, I just wanted to comment on that number because it was kind of a big number than we're used to seeing. Um, but as I said, we're current on all of our bills. Of course, our expenses as well as our income have gone down since we have been in the shelter-in-place order. But that we are current on all of our bills. So that is thanks to all of you who have mailed in your contributions, have dropped by contributions, have signed up for electronic giving and given electronically. Again, that is very helpful for those of you who sign up for recurring gifts. Again, that is very helpful for us in planning. I know Teresa is working on a budget for next year. I mean, we're still going to be feeling the repercussions of the shutdown and the restart of the economy. So I think more so than most years, this coming year's budget is going to be more of a guess. But that's just my my perception as a non-finance person. But again, Teresa will be developing that budget. It will go before our finance council, go through and get their expertise, and so that we can get back to as close to normal as soon as we possibly can. So that's it for finance right now. But again, thank you to all of those of you who have been so generous, and those of you who have been able to increase your gifts. That has been very, very helpful to us, helpful to the parish, and again, being in as solid a position as we are, which, as I say, is we are current on all of our bills and we have money in the bank. So that is all to the good. If you listened to Mass yesterday, you heard that this week will be the official end of Brother Athanasius's presence to us here in the parish. He'll begin an online program in Hebrew next week, I think Monday or Tuesday, and he'll still be here in Benicia until the end of May, when he'll move back to St. Albert's. Obviously, would like to keep him here a little longer so that hopefully we can open up a little bit and we can have something. But the benefit of him being just at St. Albert's and we being here in Benicia is that even if we're not able to have a gathering until later in the summer, that he can come back and attend that as well. Again, with Father Brad moving on for studies, I'm excited for him because I know that's been part of his hopes and plans and dreams for the future. So I'm glad that he's able to do that. He will be with us through toward the end of July. I don't have an exact date yet, but sometime toward the end of July, and then again, depending on where we are with the ability to offer public masses, communions, and whatnot, may need to bring in someone from the outside, maybe someone like Father Dominic De Mayo, who has helped us with our Spanish-speaking community in the past, who's on our preaching band, or my classmate, Father Bartholomew, who helped me last year when I was at St. Raymond's, hoping to see if he can come in and help in the fall, summer and fall, as we need it, particularly as I do still hope to get some kind of vacation this summer, though it's sadly not looking like the trip that I was planning for my 50th birthday, a 2-week trip to Scotland and England, because they're still, the UK is still very much in lockdown and asking visitors to do a 2-week self-quarantine, which of course would effectively kill a 2-week trip. So anyway, but I know many of you, I'm not whining, because I know many of you are impacted far less, or far more rather than simply a change in vacation plans. And of course, we'll all get through this one way or another. And because this is such a fluid situation, and we're all planning prudently, I hope, our personal lives as well as our parish life. So again, hope to see you again soon. Know that you're in my prayers and in the friars' prayers, and hope that you are continuing, even though we are in lessening restrictions, to be particularly safe and prudent in your interactions with people outside of your home, that you're washing your hands frequently, that you are staying 6 feet when you are out and about, that you are wearing masks to help prevent the spread of this disease, and that you still are saying your prayers, that you are hopefully increasing your prayer life and your time for prayer and meditation. The church is still open 9 to 7:30 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and noon to 7:30 on Wednesday, and 2 to 5 on Sunday for private prayer. We've been very blessed in that we have been less than 10, which is of course the number that the state gives us for safely gathering. And of course in our church, you know, 6, 7, 8 people spread throughout the church is very effective social distancing, and that gives you time to spend with the Lord Jesus in the Eucharist. So, and again, we still do have confessions 4 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday evenings, 6:30 to 7:30, Friday morning 9 to 10, and the usual Saturday time at 3:30. And the confessions, we're hearing confessions in the family room, the cry room, whatever you want to call that little chapel right off the vestibule across from the choir loft, so that we are able to continue to celebrate the sacrament of reconciliation, or as I like to say, polish your halos. So again, God bless you. Hope you all are well, and that we'll talk to you soon. All right, God bless you.